Hello, friends. You are in my messy kitchen. But that's because we're going to do a craft project that I'm going to test it out and see how well it does. It is going to be an air freshener or a car freshener for a car. But it's not a regular air freshener. We're not just putting some scent on something or spraying it on or whatever. What we're going to do is we are going to make a little just a little round tin with some candle wax in it, and we're going to scent it and color it, and then we're going to test it out. So this is all testing. I just want to check it out, and if it goes, if it works, if it does what I think it will do, if it's done my way, we might put it on my merch store. How about that? But first, let me show you what I got. Okay, so in order to accomplish this, I bought these little bitty tins. Let me tell you why I did. Now, the reason that I bought these little bitty tins is because, you know, in the dash of your car, you've got that crazy little pocket that it's this high. There's like, the best you can get in there is maybe a pack of cigarettes. And this would fit in there. And I thought, well, maybe that'll work. But even this, when you take the lid off, because these lids screw on, when you take the lid off, you could put this under your car seat and allow it to sit there. Now, our goal is to, you know, these are inexpensive, so we're thinking a couple months maybe. But maybe we could stretch it out if we use a little bit more scent, you know, hey. So, we are going to put together some car fresheners with little aluminum tins. Now, I got 24 of them, and they came with these fancy little labels. And I'm only going to do, here's the box. There's 24. I'm only going to do a few, and I decided to go with a wax that's a little more organic. So I went with beeswax. Beeswax is something that they typically use in a like makeup and stuff like that. They also use it for lotion to kind of give it its rigidity. They use it in lip balms and all kinds of stuff. And so I went with beeswax. I just bought a little package. I don't know how much I'm going to need. I don't know how much it'll make. So let's get started. So I have a little burner here. I just pulled out the little burner, and I've got a little pot. Now I don't want to melt the beeswax in this pot, and I want to put some water in it, and then because normally you would need a double broiler. So what I want to do is I want to use a mason jar and melt that in a mason jar, and then I can, once I add my color, I'm going to pour it into my little containers, or I will pour it into like an old measuring cup, which I have. Now, to color it, I used to have my own business, and so we had body lotions and soaps, and then we also made little citric acid bombs that we could drop in the water and make them fizz, and they had jewelry bombs in them is what they were called. But anyway, so I have lots of mica powder, and this is what you use to color wax with. You color lotions. Anyway, it's supposed to be really safe for your skin, safe for everything. And so I thought what we would do is just go ahead and use what I had here. And with that, I am going to use, I'll show you, this is some essential oil. This is Japanese cherry blossom. It's a floral scent, but this is something that I want to give. I want this one. I want to try it with this one. This will be the one. I have the most of this. And when I add my scent, I want to make sure that I'm, you know, that I've got plenty. So we're going to use Japanese cherry blossom. Okay, we're just going to let this go ahead and come to a boil. And I'm going to put this mason jar in here in just a little bit. But it's going to have beeswax in it. So we're going to kind of let it melt slowly. Okay, now we're going to break into the beeswax. It's vacuum sealed. We're just going to let that melt naturally. Just let it kind of slowly melt. I worry that the lids won't fit, so I'm going to make sure they stay with them. Okay, so I have my little spatula. It's a little spoon spatula, but I'm going to use the mica powder rose gold. It's got a little bit of a pink tint to it, and we're going to put it into the beeswax while it's still in the water. And, you know, just give it a little bit of color. Not much. I don't want to put much in there. And then we do not add the scent until after the beeswax is in the containers. And that's where we have the advantage, because we can put in this little area, we can put a lot of scent, a lot of oil, without compromising the beeswax. Okay, it is starting to melt down there. And I didn't use very much, and I only ordered 1 pound, so it's not going to go very far. But it is melting down, and I think this will fill at least a majority of our little tins. It is almost melted. You can see just a little bit left in there. Alrighty, so we're going to take our mica powder, which is the safer stuff, which is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for more natural, organic ingredients, such as the beeswax, aluminum, which is less expensive, and we want to kind of give it a little bit of a color. Now this is all I'm giving it. I don't know if you can see, but it gave it a little bit of a pink tint. Look at that. Okay. We got our beeswax. Not going to fill too many, just enough. Alrighty, so we're going to let this little bit sit here in the jar. Turn off the burner. We're going to let this sit for a sec. We did make a little bit of a mess, but I'll make sure that we handle that. And now we can add some scents. And we need to let these sit. We've added our color, which was rose gold, and we added our scent, which is Japanese cherry blossom. I chose that because the blossoms are little pink flowers on those little trees. So we just let these sit. So the point of this, when you put them under a car seat, they're going to warm up. Okay, they're going to warm up, and even when they're not warm, they're still going to emit this nice scent. Now, obviously, I don't want to do floral scents on everything, but for my test, that's what I want to do, because we're going to test it in 2 of my cars. We're going to test it in my daughter's cars, so that's 4. I'm going to give 1 to Mom and see how she likes it. And I don't know, I'll find somebody else to give 1 to, just to test it, and then them kind of keep me up to date on what they think over the next couple of months. Because I do want to see how well this does over a couple month period of time. So we'll check it in 24 hours and see what happens. Alrighty, so it's been about 45 minutes. Just wanted to check in on them. You can see where the oil is. It's obviously going to underneath allow it to start bonding. So, and those are actually still open melted wax. Alrighty, friends. So it's really dark here in this kitchen. I've got 2 of them in my car, and I've got a couple others. Now, this one did some kind of strange stuff, but the rest of them look like this. I mean, they're in pretty decent shape. There we go. This is the Japanese cherry blossom. I went ahead and used a label and put it on there just to kind of see. Obviously, I'm going to have to, if I put these on my merch store, I'll have to do it a little better. But I just wanted to show all of these. I've got 6 here. And the reason why is because the other 2, one is in my pickup and one is in my car. But they are looking really good. Let me show you. I mean, these actually turned out pretty good for a little craft project. See, they're pink. Oh my God. Oh, that's too strong. Shouldn't do that. Anyway, it's not lip balm kind of soft or anything, but it's definitely totally ready to be put in the cars. And so that's what I did. I put one in my car and one in my pickup. And I'm going to give one to my daughter today and see how it turns out. But anyway, I'm hoping that in the end, you know, I can maybe put this up as a little thing on my merch store. And, you know, you can use it as an air freshener. It's safe because it's beeswax. And the color, they're all organic and natural. As far as the scent, that is an all-natural essential oil. Obviously, I would have to make sure I have that in hand if I do that. But my biggest thing was I wanted it to be safe for us as humans. I don't want there to be harmful vapors and things like that, which is why I went with the beeswax. So I really think that this might work, but we'll see. I'm going to try it for the next 2 months, and, you know, we'll check in on it and from time to time and see how it goes. So thanks for hanging out on my channel, guys. I sure do appreciate it, and hanging out with me while I play around with something I don't usually play around with. Thanks for hanging out on my channel, guys. I sure do appreciate it. And until the next one, you know how it goes. Peace.